Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to tackle something that's absolutely fundamental for any web developer: validating form data. And as you're about to see, getting this right isn't just about a nice user experience, it's about locking down your entire application from the very start.
So let me kick things off with a question. Why should you never, and I mean never, trust the data that comes from a web form? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward. An unchecked form is basically one of the biggest security holes you can leave wide open in your app. It's like leaving the front door unlocked for bad data and malicious attacks.
In fact, the Mozilla Developer Network, the MDN web docs, they have a golden rule that puts it perfectly. The reason for this rule is simple. Any check you do on the client side in their browser can be completely bypassed. A savvy user, or worse, a malicious one, can just switch off JavaScript or straight up change the network request to send whatever junk they want directly to your server.
So to deal with this, you really need a two-part security system. The best way to think about it is like having two guards. The first one is kind of like a friendly greeter, helping people out. But the second one, that's your serious security expert who lets absolutely no one pass without a full-on, thorough check. You need both, and we're about to see exactly why. Okay, so let's meet our first guard: client-side validation. This is our friendly greeter at the gate. And their main job? It's all about making the user's life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it really all boils down to the user experience. I mean, think about it. Instead of a user filling out some huge form, hitting submit, waiting for the page to reload, only to get an error saying they missed a field, client-side validation gives them instant feedback. It tells them right there, on the spot, hey, this field is required, or, whoop, that doesn't look like a valid email. It's fast, it's helpful, and man, it prevents so much frustration.
And here's the really cool part. You can get a surprising amount of this done with just plain old HTML. No JavaScript required to get started. Simple attributes like required make a field mandatory. You've got min length and max length to control input size. And pattern lets you use powerful, regular expressions to enforce custom formats. All of it right there in the HTML tag. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch with our friendly greeter. A malicious user? They can just stroll right past them. They can disable JavaScript in their browser, pop open the DevTools to delete that required attribute, and then submit the form anyway. And that's exactly why this first guard is just a helper for our honest users, not a real security measure. Now, if you want to create an even better user experience, you can bring in some JavaScript. And the flow is pretty simple. You just listen for some input, and then you check the field's built-in validity property. If it's invalid, you call setCustomValidity to show a really specific, helpful error message. And once the user fixes it and it's valid again, you just clear out that message by calling setCustomValidity with an empty string. It gives you total control over the feedback.
So if our first guard can just be walked past, we obviously need a second guard, one that is absolutely impossible to skip. This is our elite guard standing right in front of the data vault. This is server-side validation. For any of you developers using the Flask framework in Python, this is where the Flask-WTF extension becomes your absolute best friend. It's a fantastic tool that integrates a library called WForms to make your server-side validation super clean, secure, and incredibly well organized.
So why is it so great? Well, first off, it lets you define all your forms as simple Python classes, which keeps your logic neatly separated from your HTML. It packs in a whole suite of powerful, ready-to-use validators. It also gives you automatic CSRF protection, which is huge, and we'll touch on that in a sec. And it just makes rendering the forms in your templates so much easier.
And the process itself is just so intuitive. You just create a Python class for your form, maybe call it login form. Inside, you declare your fields like username equals string field, etc. And right there on the same line, you attach a list of validators, checking if data is required or if a password has a minimum length. It keeps everything neat and tidy in one place.
But the real magic? That happens in your Flask view function. You call just one single method, form.validateOnSubmit. And this thing is an absolute powerhouse. It checks if the form was submitted, it runs all your validators, and it checks the CSRF token. If everything passes, you're good to go. If not, You just re-render the page, and Flask-WTF automatically takes care of showing all the right error messages.
So I mentioned CSRF. That stands for Cross-Site Request Forgery, and it's a pretty nasty attack where a bad website tricks a logged-in user into submitting a form to your application without them even knowing it. Flask-WTF stops this cold. It automatically embeds a unique, secret token in every single form. If a submission comes in without that exact token, it gets rejected, period. It's a critical security feature that it just handles for you.
Okay, so the built-in stuff is great. But what happens when validators like data required or email just aren't enough? What if you need to enforce a rule that's totally unique to your app? Well, that's when you have to roll up your sleeves and build a custom validator.
This is a classic problem you see all the time. This question from Stack Overflow is a perfect example. A developer needs to validate a sports score, and it has to be in this specific format, number, number, like 2-1. There's just no built-in validator for something like that. And the community over on Reddit confirms what you'd hope to hear. The right way to do this isn't to hack something together. The best practice is to stick with the framework and extend it. WTForms is designed for this. The solution is to create your own clean, reusable validator, not to clutter up your view function with messy logic. And the pattern WTForms gives you for this is just so elegant. To validate a field, let's say it's called match1, you just create a method inside your form class called validate/match1. WTForms is smart enough to automatically call this method for you. Inside, you write your custom logic. If the data is bad, you just raise a validation error with your custom error message. It's powerful, it's clean, and it keeps your validation logic right where it belongs.
All right, so let's bring it all back together. We've got our two guards, and the key thing here is that it's not about choosing one or the other. If you want to build a truly formidable, secure form, you absolutely need both of them working together.
And this is the final debrief. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. Their roles are completely different, but equally important. The client-side guard is there for the user. It provides a great UX with fast feedback, but it can be bypassed. The server-side guard is there for the app. It provides absolute, unskippable security, and it is the final, authoritative source of truth.
So if you only remember a few things, let it be these. 1. Client-side validation is all about user experience. 2. Server-side validation is all about security and data integrity. 3. And listen, this is the big one. You always need server-side validation. It is not optional. And 4. If you're working in Flask, Flask-WTF is the tool you want in your corner to get this done right.
So I'll leave you with a challenge. Go look at the most important form in your own application. Your login form, your checkout page, your user registration. Take a really close look at it. Are both of your guards on duty? Is your friendly greeter helping your users? And is your elite security expert at the back protecting your data? You got to make sure the answer is yes.